The celebration police are out in full force yet again, and they are criticising Arsenal for the celebrations that they produced in the aftermath of their victory over Manchester City on Sunday. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be surrounding this growing trend of celebration policing. I feel like I've done a few videos on this by now over the course of the past few years, but this seems to be a growing trend. And it seems that clubs and fan bases can no longer celebrate victories without one or two results happening in the end. Either you need to be winning a trophy at the end, or you need to be a substantial points difference at the top of the table away from second place. If you're not in one of those two things, the celebration police are seemingly going to be coming after you. One person in particular guilty of doing this is one Gary Neville. Now, of course, Arsenal beat Manchester City on Sunday. It was a pretty comfortable and professional victory for Mikel Arteta's side as he got one over on his former mentor of Pep Guardiola. Arsenal absolutely destroyed Manchester City, giving them a right humbling over the weekend. But one person in particular was not happy with Arsenal celebrations, and that was Sky Sports' own Gary Neville. Now, of course, he's not the only one in this. There are other fans, other pundits that are not happy with the way that Arsenal celebrated. Many of them on social media. But Gary Neville, obviously being one of the biggest pundits, one of the biggest ex-players still commentating on the game and things like that, and obviously having a massive platform in Sky Sports, obviously takes the spotlight and centre stage in this one. So we're going to be talking about celebration policing. We're going to be talking about Arsenal's victory again over Manchester City. If you want more of a breakdown on that, go back and check out the video that I did yesterday. Talk about the reaction to it, talking about Arsenal performance, yada, 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 so on and so forth. Go check that out. Really appreciate it. But without further ado, would like to remind you all as well to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things will always be forever and greatly appreciated. Also, get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it on this topic down below. I'm sure it'll make for great and interesting reading as well. So please do get involved down there. Use and abuse that comment section, people. Would love to hear from you all on this. And without further ado, let's go on with the topic of celebration policing. Arsenal's victory over Manchester City, bringing again another round and another wave of celebration policing from pundits and fans alike. So Arsenal won 5-1 on Sunday. A massive victory, a statement victory. We talked about this yesterday. A big win for Arsenal over Manchester City, who have been a bit of a thorn in their side over the past years, not just in terms of going across 90 minutes, but of course going across an entire season with them battling it out for Premier League glory, which City have pipped Arsenal to on a couple of occasions now. It's a massive win for Arsenal. Statement win. Bit of a mental block removed, I would say. Could give them the confidence and an extra shot of confidence and belief that they may need to go on and compete for the rest of the season. Arsenal's celebrations in the aftermath of that were big, as you'd expect. Big victory, big win, comfortable win, convincing win. They were massive, as you would expect. But for whatever reason, there are certain people out there that don't want to see this. Now, a lot of Arsenal fans will make this about themselves, and in this specific instance, it is. But I would probably safely bet that a lot of other players, a lot of other clubs have been accused of over-celebrating at certain times down the years. I remember Liverpool, my club, for example, getting criticised for celebrating a 2-2 draw against the all teams West Brom. And people were laughing and people were mocking us. And we just took it on the chin because we were like, no, the reason we did this was because we could sense that something special was building. And it was about bringing everybody together. It was about bridging the sort of gap between the fans and the players and the team that obviously had sort of distanced itself over the past few years before Jurgen Klopp's reign really took over. That was what it meant to us. Fast forward, and I know that this isn't the first time I've spoke about an Arsenal victory that has caught the wrath of the celebration police, But there doesn't seem that things don't seem to have improved. Certain fans still angry that Arsenal celebrated the way that they did. Certain ex-players and pundits angry with the way that Arsenal did on Sunday. I think it wasn't so long ago, probably about a year ago actually, that we were talking about Arsenal's celebration where Martin Odegaard took the Arsenal photographer's camera and took a photo of him rather than, of course, him taking photos of the team and everything. It just seems to be this weird sort of growing trend that I really don't like. And I really do fear for football if this growing trend is to continue. Because, like I said at the top of the video, it seems to certain fans and certain pundits that the only way you can actually celebrate a victory now is if you either win a trophy at the end of the game or you are a substantial... you're in a substantial position at the top of the table where you are points adrift of everybody else. They seem to be the only two reasons why you can celebrate a victory now, according to these weird and strange people. Arsenal got it a lot on Sunday. And Gary Neville, having the biggest platform of Sky Sports, was obviously a big sort of... was seemingly spearheading this sort of celebration police thing. He basically did not like the way that Arsenal's Gabriel ran in front of Erling Haaland, celebrated by screaming in his face. During, I think it was the first goal that Martin Odegaard scored, and I think there was probably more afters as well when the full-time whistle blew by the referee. This is obviously a rivalry that's been developing over the past few years, Arsenal versus Manchester City, and this season, definitely, there's been a rivalry developing seemingly between Gabriel and Manchester City's Erling Haaland. I don't mind a bit of needle. I don't mind a bit of heat. I don't mind a bit of intensity when it comes to rivalry. We've seen Liverpool versus Manchester City, and whilst that is a rivalry that is pure respect-based, not a lot of people didn't like it because it wasn't like the Arsenal versus Manchester Uniteds of years gone by. It wasn't like Chelsea versus Man United. It wasn't like Liverpool versus Man United. It wasn't like Liverpool versus Chelsea. All of those had a bit of needle about it, had a bit of fight about it, and a bit of fire there. Not a lot of people liked the complete respect rivalry between Manchester City and Liverpool. So when they get this Arsenal-Man City rivalry that has got a bit of needle there is a bit of heat there is a bit of tension whenever these two teams meet, people are invested more because they like that kind of thing more. So Gary Neville sees Gabriel celebrating and condemns it. He doesn't like it. He doesn't find it respectful, basically, what his quotes in a nutshell. He doesn't like what Gabriel did to Erling Haaland, which would stand to reason if he was consistent. But we know he's not. And the fact that we know he's not is because earlier on in the season, in the 2-2 draw that played out between Man City and Arsenal in the reverse fixture, Gabriel was hit in the back of the head by the ball from Erling Haaland in the aftermath of John Stones scoring the equaliser for Manchester City with virtually the last kick of the game. Neville's comments on that were that he and Jamie Carragher found it funny. He does go on to say that it could have been a red card, but he found that funny. So throwing a ball at the back of someone's head is funny, but screaming at someone in their face, celebrating, laughing, is disrespectful and uncalled for. Can someone not see the hypocrisy and weirdness about that comment? About those two comments separately and then together? It's weird to me. It is so weird to me, especially coming from someone like Gary Neville, who I'm sure someone can maybe find a clip out there somewhere of him over-celebrating, him going crazy. I'm pretty sure it might have been in front of his own fans, but I'm pretty sure he did something during a Liverpool-Manchester United game, maybe in front of the fans, where he was over-celebrating. I'm sure there are moments where you can find Neville celebrating just a one-off game like that. in a similar fashion, or he got riled up by one particular player and decided to take it out on him. If there isn't, fine, fair enough, I'll hold my hands up. But I can't imagine there isn't a case of the amount of games that Gary Neville played during his career for Manchester United, that he didn't do something similar. He didn't do something similar in any of these kinds of big games. I'd be very shocked and surprised if that was the case. But here we are talking about it from him being now a pundit, from that kind of pundit's point of view. He doesn't like the way that Gabriel taunted Erling Haaland. And the fact of the matter is that this is part of football. Taunting your rivals, taunting fellow fans is part of football. And we celebrate it for the most part. We do. We celebrate it for the most part. We've all had players at our own clubs, and even that we've seen from rival perspectives and even neutral perspectives, that have had players that taunt players. They taunt other players and they taunt rival fans. And we enjoy it because it adds a little bit more spice to the occasion. It adds a little bit more flavour to certain games. Look at Jamie Vardy as prime example. The ultimate, the ultimate guy for this kind of thing. He is a guy that basically goes to training, and part of his training regime is to rile up, is to find ways to rile up the opposition. There was even a story about a week or two ago, or maybe even longer, that he allegedly learns different words and phrases in different languages to accommodate for the defenders he's coming up against. So if he's coming up against like someone, a Spanish defender, for example, he'll learn some choice words, shall we say, in Spanish to play mind games and get in the head of his opponents. And I'm not saying he might not be the only one to do it. I'm sure there are other players that do that. I'm sure there are other players that kind of use these kind of tactics to kind of get under the skin of their opponents, to kind of give them the advantage. And then when obviously it ends up going well for them, they'll taunt them. And Vardy again does that, not just in front of players of those clubs, but when he does score, he will rile up fans. We saw the other week when Leicester beat Tottenham, he scored and he instantly pointed to the Premier League badge that was on his shoulder and went 1 for Leicester, 0 for Spurs. He does that on a regular basis. There were on the other side of that though, where on the same weekend, Ndiaye of Everton was booked for mocking Brighton fans by doing the seagull celebration, which was baffling to everybody. We couldn't understand why that was, because the day after, Jamie Vardy does that celebration that I said, and nothing was done about it. So there was no consistency there whatsoever. But it definitely was strange. It definitely was strange that happened. But like I say, I don't remember Gary Neville coming out and condemning that. I don't remember Gary Neville coming out and condemning those two instances whatsoever. But what I do remember is him calling the celebrations of Arsenal last year when they did beat Liverpool immature. I do remember his comments on Sunday. And he's not the only one. There are plenty of other fans and pundits and things on social media that have also condemned it. They condemned Gabriel's celebration. They condemned Miles Lewis-Skelly's celebration more. Obviously, we know by now that Miles Lewis-Skelly scored the third goal of the game on Sunday. It was a goal that, in my opinion, absolutely killed the game off completely, got Arsenal the win, and he celebrated by doing Erling Haaland's trademark celebration. Everybody erupted. Everybody erupted. Why did they erupt? They claim that he should put his medals on the table, his trophies on the table. Why is he doing that against a treble winner, a golden boot winner, maybe even a future Ballon d'Or winner? Why did he do that? And it's because obviously it goes back to the game earlier on in the season where Haaland disrespected Miles Lewis-Skelly. Disrespected him, and Miles Lewis-Skelly got his revenge. And again, no one talks about the disrespect that Haaland did, but they're talking about the disrespect from Lewis-Skelly in doing his celebration. And I don't mind the needle. I don't mind the celebration. I'm not going to celebration police this thing. But I just find all of these comments very weird. And I do, like I say, I do fear for football that we are heading down a path where the more, if this trend seemingly grows and grows more, we're not going to be able to celebrate in the moment anymore, because unless you win a title, unless you win a trophy, unless you are significantly ahead of everybody else, you can't celebrate anymore. I do fear that may be a path. And maybe I'm being a bit overreactionary, like these celebration police people. But the more and more that this grows, the more and more that I do fear we could be heading down that road. And I don't want to live down that road, because football is about enjoying the moment. Football is about enjoying the goals that you see, enjoying the performances that you witness. All of that stuff combined and much more. And celebrating at the end. At the expense of rivals, throwing a bit of banter out there, it's part and parcel of football. But these guys actually mean what they're saying. And it's worrying. It's worrying that that is the case. I'm not going to celebration police it. I'm really not. Like I say, the only bit that I was annoyed at was the fact that I actually backed Manchester City for the first time, and I was hoping that they would actually do us a favour for the first time, and they completely crumbled. And fair play to Arsenal for absolutely crumbling them. I did say that Arsenal fans do need to keep their feet on the ground. I did say there was an element of what Haaland said about stay humble that Arsenal fans may need to take into consideration going forward. But in terms of celebrating a win after 90 minutes, I'm not going to take that away from them. I'm not going to sit here and condemn it. Go for it. Celebrate how you want to celebrate. Because if these people can show me what the line between celebrating to the right proportion and over celebrating, and tell me the difference between both, fine, fair enough. But I highly doubt that will actually become apparent, and they'll actually do that, because I don't think that can actually be proven. But there you go. These are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of this weird over-celebration policing thing that fans and pundits are going through right now? Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, on that subject down below in the comment section. I'm sure it'll make for interesting and great reading from you guys. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'll see you speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll speak to you all again very, very, very soon.